Hello guys, think this video is going to be the shortest one yet, and I'm sure of it this time. So let's get into it. They're saying there's an important stat here. I'm pretty shocked about this. It says that minors are implicated in about 40% of armed violence. It looks like they're talking about Laval. That's pretty crazy. Minors, guys, in the last 2 years. So what's happening? What's going on? And I think my suspicions, because we've been covering so many different events happening in the Laval area, or even Montreal, they send out these kids to go on these missions. We also have these street gangs battling each other on rap videos, but I think they're more over 18. And here it clearly says minor. We know that they sent out minors to steal vehicles these days, minors to possibly, because they don't catch them often, but when they set fires at places. But then how could they say it's minors? Is it by the camera? I have no idea. But look at the numbers. Okay, they're even talking about discharging the fire tools. 2021, 43, 2022, 24, 2023, 13, and 2024, 25. 2025 so far, 10, they're saying. And look, we got some form of confirmation. What I told you, I was just guessing, man. I don't know. It says conflicts between gangs, I guess, as a possible reason. Shout out to Marcel Mathers. What's up, buddy? Thank you for your help. Anthony Serrano as well. Thank you so much. So happy to see you both. Man, it's always good to see my dear friends here. And it's pretty cool. Anthony's from America, and he's curious about Montreal. I think he took a trip here. No, I know he took a trip here when he was a young kid in the 1960s, I think. There was this expo event. He came here, and that's so cool. He shared some pictures. I was delighted to look at them. Anything that brings us, I love 1960s Montreal history, and that guy has some pictures of it, so I'm always down to check them out. So this here is about violence. By the way, if you notice, my voice is different. I'm sick. But yeah, the violence, guys, armed violence. It's about kids now these days. It's definitely preoccupying. Yeah, what is going on? They're saying we observed in the last few years our young ones, 12, 13 years old, are being involved in assaults, fights in the schoolyards, around schools, and that's for the 12 to 13. Okay, then they're saying for the 14 to 15, we are beginning to see certain arms are being used, such as pepper spray. And then you get to 15, 16, 17 down here. They're saying that they're noticing more. The serious stuff, guys. 15, 16, 17. They're noticing them discharging the fire tool. And look, the confirmation. Because of the utilization of their labor, their adolescent labor, by criminal groups that are a bit more organized across the province. And look, now good thing they're actually going to give us the numbers. So for these teens, here are the events, misdeeds committed by organized criminals in the context of extortion. Maybe they're not saying it's necessarily for teens here. I can't confirm for sure. But here are at least the events for extortion by organized crime. 2022, it was 37 events. 2023 was 63. You see that? Almost doubling. And then 2024, 67. High numbers the last 2 years. 2025, so far, they're saying we're at 11. Now we're almost June. So, wow, wouldn't that be a wild drop so far? In 2024, we covered it, and you saw it with me. It was exploding. Here you're at 2025. We're barely at 11. Halfway through the year. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? That's pretty nuts. It dropped. So Depuis quelques années. Yeah, for the last few years, owners of bars, managers, restaurants in Laval have been targeted of numerous misdeeds tied to extortion. They don't have the statistics to share. I don't get it. They just shared something, and it's definitely from Laval. Maybe I just don't want to read every single word. There's a quote here. They're saying rounds were being let off on January on a restaurant called Gato Mato in Place Belle, and that was extortion. And in the beginning of this month, two minors were arrested for that. Now, I don't remember covering Gato Mato, probably just because I didn't appear on this feed here on this website for me. But sometimes I noticed I'll maybe you tell me to remind you later, because today I was just looking at the front page and I go through them. I definitely try to make sure I checked every single one, and so I don't miss anything. But some news articles, they never actually appear on the front page whatsoever. I only accidentally find them on the related links. And so when they're suggested, so maybe that's why. But I found one like that today, and it's going to be a very fun, interesting article for us. I like to end the video with the better stories, the ones that we're the most interested in. So let me just check what we got here. Yeah, I think they're just saying what they're doing now, the cops, and we're not too interested in that. I guess we'll cut it here. Minors are more and more involved in crime. That's basically it. 40% of violent crimes with weapons by minors in Laval. Imagine the world we're living in now. Next story. Now we leave Montreal and we got a search warrants in Gaspésie. About 20-ish arms seized. Wow, 20. 20 is a pretty big number, I'm not too excited when they give us they seize 2 arms and whatever. I feel kind of disappointed to cover it with you, pal. But when I see 20, not that it's a good thing, but when I see 20, at least I feel like I didn't waste our time here, But it's not a good thing. Thursday, May 29, a 34-year-old man was arrested after 3 searches in Gaspésie. I guess 3 different locations. And about 20 arms were seized and about $20,000 in cash. So 3 locations, on average, is like 7 tools per location. All right, where are we at? These operations were in Sainte-Anne-des-Monts and another one in Saint-Alphonse-de-Caplan. So, one guy, it's funny, one of our crafty ones, good guy, I appreciate him, and I get that all the time. Tell me, you don't translate the names, into English, and I only do it because when I got an Anglophone audience, and if I just give all these names, just imagine if I get, put yourself in the shoes, how could I explain this? Let's say you're hearing about a story from China, and I'm telling you words like ching chang, chuang huang like this, If I keep telling you stories like that, you will never be able to recall them because you're not from China. It's completely foreign to you. It'll be easily forgotten. So I want people to be able to remember. So that's why whenever possible, if I can translate the name, and I know it's a name we're going to use often, then I'll make up the English name, Plus, I like to break rules. Plus, I love to break Quebec rules. I like to do the stuff that you're not supposed to do here because we got way too many rules. Way too many, especially in Quebec and Canada. So I like to break rules sometimes just for the F of it, I have fun doing it. But mainly it's really because whenever it's possible, I cannot translate all of them. Some of them are completely untranslatable. But like sept île, it means 7 island. So I like to use 7th Island, so the Anglophones will be able to remember it. It'll help them out, especially when we're giving so many different names. And you don't speak the language; it's completely, the expression Chinese to you. But by saying 7th Island, you'll be able to remember it. You'll be able to follow the storylines. Now here in this list of names that I named, no, I wouldn't be able to do that really. But let's keep going. That was it. It was just 20 arms seized, I guess. They're not giving us the sources of this. Only a 34-year-old man. Okay. That was arrested. But I wanted to see links. There's nothing there. The man could face accusations of trafficking stupefires and possession of prohibited non-authorized tools. Let me give a hello to the other ones who joined us. We got Daniel Gould, and Marcel Mather says, I was conceived in Montreal, born in Ottawa. I guess he was born in Ottawa and he grew up in Montreal. His mom is from, or did you mean your parents, they did the they made it, they made it in Montreal, but then they went to Ottawa and that's where you came out, I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, I had to. Then we got Anthony Serrano, my buddy. Daniel Gould says good morning. And we got Marty, les choses se passent. Les choses se passent. Les couilles se cassent. That's it, exactly. Good way of saying. He says things are happening and balls are breaking. The balls between your legs. All right, now we get to the main stories. Our residents targeted twice by rounds. Of course, we're coming to Montreal. You could see it on your screen. I wish it wasn't there. I wanted to play a game with you and ask you, but it's there. It says residents targeted twice in less than a month. Wonder if we even talked about residents at this point. Let's see. Maybe I'll be able to remember. All I know is it says Verdun here. It's the Southwest. And I like to draw your attention that in the Southwest last year, we had a pizzeria that was burned. I think it was by this point, I cannot make the difference by memory. It was either a pizzeria or a bar that was Molotoved. I think it was a restaurant bar or something. But anyway, there was in the same street, 2 of them were Molotov. That was last year early. And then in the span of maybe 2 months later, we had the Montreal police that did a police operation and a cane ring, which they allege goes up to the Montreal mafia and the inner core of the Sicilian faction, but not directly to them, but one of their high-level associates. I think it was Diadamo. So they busted him. And then this year, about 12 months time, another ring got busted again. I think it was for cane again. Another operation, another sting. And what you have it, they were naming Mr. Diadamo again, allegedly trying to say it was linked to him. It's his fault, whatever, in 12 months, it happened to him again. So those are the actions that we're getting in Verdun. And I do believe that, I think earlier, maybe a few weeks ago, there's a possibility that we covered, there was 2 restaurants or at least 2 businesses on the same street that were targeted by either rounds or fires, again in that area. So putting that all into context, or just remembering them, here we have our residents. Now it's different though. Our residents targeted twice. But that's the thing that makes it interesting. It's not a one-off thing. Twice in 1 month, the same residents. It's not normal people that do this. It's not a normal event, first of all, burning residents, but it's also not normal that it's happening twice in the same month. There is no coincidence in that. So let's check it out. Maybe we can get something out of this. So this one's not a fire. It's rounds being let off. Let me just adjust the volume.
Maintenant, des coups de feu ont été tirés en direction d'une résidence de Verdun cette nuit. Anne-Sophie, c'est pas la première fois que cet immeuble-là est la cible de...
So it's not the first time that this place was targeted.
De projectiles.
From projectiles.
On y était il y a à peine 3 semaines. En effet, ça se passe là, dans le coin de Verdun, près de l'île des Sœurs. C'est la rue de la Sagittaire. Vous voyez encore une scène ce matin parce que ça s'est passé il y a quelques heures, à 3 heures du matin. Les
It happened at 3 in the morning.
policiers qui, en ce moment, on comprend, font du porte-à-porte pour
They're
tenter de
currently
comprendre ce qui
hitting
s'est
door
passé.
to
Mais
door
vraiment, on
to get
parle de
info.
plusieurs impacts de balles là, sur la résidence, la
We can see projectiles on the building, the impacts.
fenêtre là, qui a été lourdement endommagée. Et encore une fois, comme il y a 3 semaines, ben, le problème, c'est qu'il y a une famille
So that was 3 weeks ago that it happened, and now it happened again. So it was 3 weeks.
qui vit dans cette maison et à 3 heures du matin, il dormait, se trouvait à l'intérieur. Imaginez là, si quelqu'un s'était levé, était venu près des fenêtres, ben, les dommages auraient pu être assez importants.
Wait a sec. I just want to double check something. I apologize.
Quelqu'un s'était levé du matin, il dormait, se trouvait qui vit dans cette maison. Le problème, c'est qu'il y a une famille qui vit dans cette maison et à 3 heures du matin,
So now they're saying, so who's the target? They're saying that a family lives at this house. Okay?
il dormait, se trouvait
And
à
they were
l'intérieur.
sleeping?
Imaginez là, si quelqu'un s'était levé,
She says,
était
imagine if
venu
someone
près
would
des
have
fenêtres,
got up from
ben, les
and
dommages
the
auraient
window.
pu être assez importants.
You know, if you're sleeping, it happened to me back then. You know, just randomly like this, you wake up, and then it goes through your window, and you never know. Maybe you got up and you get up at the wrong moment, and it'll hit you. You know, it goes through the window.
Bon, personne n'a été blessé.
But
C'est
nobody
la
was
bonne
injured.
nouvelle, mais on se demande pourquoi cette famille-là a été visée 2 fois à peine.
But that's the thing. Why she's asking a very good question. This now family targeted. You know, if you would think it's an accident, but why two times if it's an accident? It's possible they had the wrong address, right? So they did it once, but then they had 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks the information that they had was never updated. They thought they got it right the first time, and 3 weeks later they came to do it again. You gotta ask yourself: is it really an accident? At the same time, you don't want to. If it's really these are innocent people that has nothing to do with any of this, you don't want to blame them either. This is already traumatic enough once. Now it's twice. They have kids. This is not a way to live. Imagine being in their shoes. This is horrible.
Dans 1 mois. Selon nos informations, le propriétaire de la maison serait un important associé d'AS Hospitality, là, qui est un groupe de restaurants à Montréal. Est-ce que c'est...
Now, she says that the owner of the property. Now, the family, are they renting, or is the parents of this property the owner? I do not know, but she says the owners of that property, they are part of a restaurant association, something like that. Let me rewind and just to be sure.
Important associé d'AS Hospitality, là, qui est un groupe de restaurants à Montréal. Est-ce que ça serait lié au phénomène?
The owner is part of an association of restaurants. Maybe they own multiple restaurants. Who knows? But now she's asking the question, and she didn't finish her question. But I'm seeing she's about to go to the point of, could this be part of they're trying to extort restaurant owners? Now it would make a lot more sense, doesn't it? Innocent people being targeted. They're not part of the criminality, but they're being targeted. Could they be targeted because they're being extorted? This is a message being sent to them. Now it makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? With this theory.
D'extorsion. Plusieurs questions et des réponses que j'ai tenté d'obtenir de la part du porte-parole du SPVM. On l'écoute, Jean-Pierre Brabant.
Now, the spokesperson is going to speak of the cops, and we usually give us the most obvious, but I'll still listen. You never know. But so far, the track record is 100%. It's the obvious waste of time. Sorry, bud. Let's see.
Est-ce qu'on a une piste d'information pour comprendre pourquoi cette famille-là est visée?
Not him, and he's among the worst.
Pas comme ça.
Les policiers ont certaines informations à ce moment-ci, mais naturellement, le propriétaire de la résidence là, qui va être rencontré là, une seconde fois pour savoir s'il y a d'autres informations qui pourraient être établies. Là.
So they're going to talk to the owner a second time, he says.
Du côté du SPVM là, pour faire avancer l'enquête qui se déroule et celle qui vient de débuter là, du côté du SPVM aujourd'hui.
Absolutely a waste of time.
Je crois qu'il y avait des enfants à l'intérieur de la résidence. Est-ce que c'était le cas aussi cette nuit?
J'ai pas cette information-là.
He says, was the kid still in the house the second time? And now he says, I don't have this
À
information,
ce moment-là, je peux vous convaincre qu'il y avait des personnes à l'intérieur
but I can confirm there were people inside.
de la résidence, personnes qui ont été blessées, des vérifications qui ont été faites là,
No one was
du
hurt.
côté des policiers, là, aux alentours de la résidence, à l'extérieur aussi, là, pour voir s'il n'y avait
Yeah,
pas d'autres
the
blessés.
obvious. We're searching around the building, in front of the building. Yeah, I told you, man. Sorry, pal. I don't know why I still try, man. because I just don't want to make sure if there's a 1% chance you and I don't miss anything. So then what I do usually with you is I scan here and see, this part we usually sometimes get something. Now I don't have anything. 3:30 in the morning it happened. No surprise there. Okay. All right, we're gonna move to the next story. But interesting, huh? Maybe I like the theory that she proposed. All right, main story, the main one. Well, I did a video a few months back. It was about the Montreal mafia, and then we found out that the Marco Pizzi in 2016, his dealership was hit, and maybe even twice. Once was they tried to set something on fire, or either they let off rounds at it, but at least got hit twice in 2 different years. So clearly someone was not happy with Marco Pizzi, and then we found out that there was a hit on him. The Montreal gangster Brown Rock, he came, and no, Brown Rock went. Yeah, it was not Brown Rock. Yeah, it was Brown Rock. Brown Rock tried to off Rizzuto, and I believe it was Brown Rock that tried to off Marco Pizzi. I'm not 100% sure. My memory is a little bit off right now. It could be or could not be. But for sure, Marco Pizzi was a target of a hit. They tried to finish him too, and he ran into the children park. There's people there, and he survived. And then I ended that video. I ended the video with an update. Recently, like maybe 3 months ago, they raided his business, and this was the picture when they raided his business. This was a fresh photo. And I told you, sooner or later, we're going to get an update on that. Any information on why and what came out of it, and to progress our plot. It ain't easy being Pizzi. That's the quote from one of you guys, like Anthony Serrano. Exactly. So let's see. Now we're getting updates on Marco Pizzi. The day has come. I'm not going to promise you it's going to be significant as hell, but any little bit will help us to demystify what's going on and lead us into the future. Let's do it. Because the 2 articles are on him, so it's going to be great. They're fresh, new. Now, the title says, Transaction of $9.5 million. Affordable homes will replace the headquarters of the mafia boss. So remember they arrested him at his dealership, I think it was? I think. Could have been, maybe he owns more than one business, maybe. I don't know. But I do remember they raided a business. Is this that business? And now it says that they will replace the building with affordable homes. What the hell is going on? In the span of 3 months? In the span of 3 months, they completely shut down his business? Because you can't have affordable homes in a business place without shutting down the business. So you're telling me in the span of 3 months, you guys completely destroyed his business. Let's see. This is a surprise to me. So it was in January, or actually 6 months ago, or 6 months ago. Okay. So yeah, the business place is the dealership. It is confirmed here. He says it was targeted by numerous attacks. We just resumed that in the beginning, and as well as police operations in the last few years. And it will change its vocation, the business place. So we have the Society of, Real Estate Development. Angus is trying to buy this land for $10 million in order to build affordable homes that will be, how do you call this? Subventionné. I don't know how you say this in English. I forgot. For lack of the right word, guys. I know you'll be able to figure out, like, sponsored. It's like it comes at a rebate. Maybe the government will sponsor part of the rent or something. It's because of a lack of the good words coming to my mind right now. But you know what I'm saying. Affordable homes. They want to build they want to buy it for $10 million to build real estate, basically. They're saying that the presence of the commerce of the dealership and a garage belonging to Marco Pizzi in a big complex in the angles of the Avenue Broadway and the street Notre Dame is causing agitation for a long time in the area. Since 2016, the mafioso has escaped an attempt on his life on the corner of the building. Crazy. So they tried to off him in the corner of the building when he was running to escape a group of men. It could be that assassination attempt I told you about earlier. And then he ran to the park. It's probably that one. Between 2016 and today, about half a dozen of criminal fires were lit up at the address of the enterprise of Marco Pizzi, this dealership. About 6 times fires were let off. They were trying to set it on fire. In June of 2023, 3 individuals who were working as night security for the establishment have, I guess, arrested or held an adolescent. That is very strange. That's a very strange one. I kind of remember, but I don't remember. Well, I'm going to just translate. 3 individuals who were working as night security guards for this building held an adolescent in the back of the car. What do you call it again? The trunk. And they lit him on. How you call it? They dropped gasoline on him. They poured gasoline on him because they suspected him of wanting to. What the hell? They suspected him of wanting to cause another fire. So they sent an adolescent to come burn his place. The night security, arrested him, if we could say that. But what I find odd is, why does it? This article says that while they held him, they controlled him, they held him, they poured gasoline on him. What the heck? In September of the same year, I guess 2023, a automatic rifle had sprayed the commerce as well. So a bit later. Now, in this January, the SPVM had erupted inside of the garage of Marco Pizzi for a search warrant in order to seize arms. But the officers got out empty-handed, it says. Now it's good. You get to actually see a photo, air photo of the location. So it's a big complex. There's numerous businesses there. I guess it's not the same one, or maybe it is. I'm not too sure. I can read a little bit. There's a garage shop here. There's a car cleaning service here. This is the dealership. I'm guessing he owns all of it. So what neighbors were they talking about? The whole thing seems to be owned by the same. But maybe not. I don't know. Let me just keep reading. Now, the commercial complex in Montreal East had been bought by Marco Pizzi and a partner for $450,000 in 2003. So he owned it for, 22 years. Then the mobster gave it in 2018 to his ex-wife or girlfriend in a divorce judgment. Okay, so he got divorced in 2018, and allegedly he gave the ownership to his ex-wife. Now, since that time, he is a simple renter of the building. Does that all sound funny here? Since that time, he's a simple renter of the building. Which is nothing unusual. Other commerces operate that way. They rent locations. Okay. Quote, here's a quote from somebody speaking. He has a dealership. He is a renter. He parks his cars in the basement. And he gives a helping hand. End of quote. Has declared to La Presse, this newspaper, his ex-wife. So that's the quote of his ex-wife. And she confirms she's the only owner of this place now. She says, quote, "It belongs to me." End of quote. Let's keep going. So the ex-wife of Mr. Pizzi has also confirmed to being in negotiations to sell the property to that real estate company, Angus, the one that they said they want to buy it for 10 million. Now it makes more sense. So they didn't. The cops did not force him to sell it. You see, now we're getting the good picture here. So no, they didn't. He didn't lose his business because of this operation. He did the smart thing. Maybe 5, 7, 8 years ago. He maybe smart guy. He shouldn't be under my name. I could lose it overnight. He gave it to his ex-wife, and and she's controlling it, and now she wants to sell it. These days she wants to sell it. Where were we? Okay. So this business, the Angus, is about to in April announce that they will soon buy this land, this strategic land, to create 180 affordable homes or apartments or whatever. The offer is for $9.5 million. And she says that, she also confirms that she assures, Mr. Pizzi, because he's just a renter, he will not touch one penny for the sale of this property. What a genius. Oh, man, this guy, he's, what's the word, he's avant-garde. He can see ahead. Nice. He knows if that's a bingo right there, huh? Good job. I'm just kidding. What do I know? I'm just having fun with this. The value of the building is actually estimated for 1.7. Oh, no, not the building. Yeah, it says of the building and the land is estimated at $1.7 million in the municipal evaluation. But the changing of the vocations of the location could make it explode. Let's see what they're... But okay, so they're talking to Christina Iaccarini. She's president of Angus, and she's discussing. She cannot discuss the transaction until it's concluded. Basically, she can't give more information on that. But they estimate that the value of the land $9.5 million. We already know that. Now let's continue. Age 55, Marco Pizzi has been frequently described by the Montreal police in front of the tribunals as a, quote, an influential member, important figure in the reigns of organized crime, the Italian organized crime. In the middle of the 2010 years, he was arrested for traffic of cane in an operation by the RCMP, baptized Clemenza, that epic operation, who we'll never forget about. That was targeting the Montreal mafia. I'm not too sure what they're trying to say here. I think they're saying that it may have been thrown out. Whatever, they throw out evidence, stuff like that. I can't tell you for sure. I can't understand it. But it seems like it didn't. For him, anyways, it may not have panned out. Let's keep going. No confiscation like in Italy. Anna Sergi, a professor of the University of Essex, a doctor in criminology, having maybe stayed in Montreal to study the local criminal landscape, is not surprised to see that a mafioso has occupied such an important strategic site in Montreal. She's not surprised because it's similar back home. Let's see. She has a quote. So look, guys, my video's not going to be short. Oh, man. I never get it right. I only got it right last time. I got like 4 or 5 articles, and I thought it was going to be short. I didn't see how long it was. Let's keep going. I apologize for that. The mafia... Yeah, so she's going to talk about back home. The mafias across the world habitually or normally see the lands as an investment, as a sure investment. Not only because they will make money, but also because that shows a tangible wealth. And they must be seen with tangible wealth to be seen as credible. Okay. Now, in Italy, the government has adopted a series of special measures in order to avoid paying the high cost when the time comes to buy properties acquired in decades by criminal groups. She says, in Italy, there is a possibility to confiscate lands from mafiosos because of a formula that we call an enlarged confiscation. After a verdict, after the end of a verdict, where they show an association, a mafioso association, or mafia association, sorry, all the properties can be seized, even those that are not directly linked to a criminal enterprise or bought with the fruits of crime, she explains. Now, in Italy, they have a mandate to reuse these properties for social causes, I think, is what she's saying here. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, that's it. Little lore there, and so he's what do we learn from this? Marco Pizzi and the other mobsters, they got this down to a science. You know, that's smart. You should be you should divorce your wife and handing the properties all to the person you can trust the most. And then no matter what happens, you're not in Italy, you're in Canada. And now you can get away with it. And now she can sell it for a bigger price 20 years later, and you can benefit, you know? Allegedly. This is my theory. What do I know? I'm having fun with this. Maybe they really are divorced, they hate each other's guts, and she's totally fine with having financial links to him forever. Maybe. I'm not leaning on that. Next story. Again, now it's Marco Pizzi rounds on his garage. What happened for like in 2016, I think it was. The four people accused plead guilty. Now, we want to have learn some new facts from this. Oh, it's 2020. On the night of the 4th September 2023, my apologies, because it happened numerous times. The latest one, I guess, is 2023. 17 rounds were let off on the windows of the garage of Marco Pizzi. Now, we know the location, which is great. We actually get to see it. Now, I'd like to be able to point at the exact window that they're showing us. Maybe you'll be able to. Maybe you're more observant than I am. When I look at this and I come here, yeah, it's impossible to tell, right? We have to have a bigger shot from further. All right, let's keep going. Now, 4 individuals accused of having let off rounds from an AR-15 in September of 2023 in the commerce of Marco Pizzi, considered by the cops as an influential member of the Montreal Mafia, were condemned to 5 to 7 years and a half of prison on Wednesday at the Montreal courthouse. On the night of the 4th September 2023, Louis-Alexandre Guéraud and Alexandre Lemonde and Gabriel Michaud-Rémillard and Sébastien Allard went there on board of 2 vehicles in front of the commerce of Marco Pizzi called Gestion Automobile Plus, situated on the angles of Notre-Dame and Avenue Broadway. They let off 17 rounds on the commerce. Nobody was injured. I bet they did it at night, which is good. And I'm not saying it's good that they did that, but night is better because nobody's there and nobody gets to be hurt. But certain projectiles had finished the route in the pieces situated at the deep end of the building. According to a resume of the facts deposed in court, one of the persons, Guéraud, which we named earlier, was first recruited by 2 intermediaries. I remember Benjamin Paquette and Mathieu Scott Dumont. So one of our storytelling episodes on the Montreal Mafia, if you check in my YouTube channel, you'll be able to get the story on that. It's storytelling format, so it's more entertaining for you. So these 2 allegedly gave the tools, the fire tools, to Guéraud and the others, and a sum of promised a sum of $15,000 to hit the commerce. Guéraud was given the task from Benjamin Paquette and Mathieu Scott Dumont. The question is, who gave the task to Benjamin Paquette and Mathieu Scott Dumont? So far, the theory is it comes from the bikers, from the Hells Angels. That's the theory here. Someone gave these two the task, and these two gave the task to Guéraud, and then Guéraud recruited 3 others and promised $500 each. Now, on the day of the misdeeds, the 4 men met at Guéraud's house, the one who's responsible to accomplish this task. He hired the other 3. They went to his house before leaving and driving to Montreal. They took pictures of the tools that they were gonna use. They took cell phone pictures. Well, I'm reaching. I don't think they probably used the cell phone pictures in this modern day. So here's a picture of Louis-Alexandre Guéraud, the 25-year-old who got the task from the 2 biker underlings. Here you have him. You got the nice tattoo on the neck, It's never a great sign. Let's see. Now, Alexandre Lemonde, 32 years old. And then you have Gabriel Michaud-Rémillard, 27 years old. And here you have Sébastien Allard, 29 years old. And now, remember these faces if ever in the next 10 years we read news stories and you find out one of them is being upgraded to become a biker underling, joins one of the underling biker schools. You would have heard that theory now, right here. I like to make predictions like that. You never know. And here's a picture of of surveillance cameras the cops collected. The 2 vehicles, they said they were on board 2 vehicles, remember, earlier? And then the gloves thrown by Alexandre Lemonde after the crime. Then you have the projectiles, obviously. And these are the 2 that this is Mathieu Scott Dumont, I believe, on the left, and Benjamin Paquette on the right. And these are the 2 that I told you they probably allegedly got their orders from the bikers. Now, if you don't want to take the alleged part, I just say look at this picture. Look at the shirt he's wearing. It sounds like those types of people. He has the great tattoos. I've never seen this before. Look at that, man. He's going all the way, and he has something on his neck as well. M.O.B. Now, that's interesting. Here you go. Can never go wrong with the neck tattoos. But then just the cherries on each cheeks. Let's keep going. And, all right, continuing the story. Guéraud, which would be... Where is he? You can see his face. It's always better. Sorry about that. This is Guéraud. So, so how could we say this? This is these 2 guys. These 2 guys are if you want to look at it this way, these 2 guys are the supervisors. This is the team leader, and these are the workers. Okay. Guéraud, the team leader, gave a role to each worker. So he gave a role to each one. He himself, the team leader, Guéraud, would film the scene, whereas Le Monde is him. So Guéraud will film the scene, whereas Le Monde will be the guy who's going to be pulling the trigger. He's gonna be the one who sprayed the windows. And then Michaud-Rémillard will be the driver of the vehicle. So he was driving. And Allard will be the getaway driver. So he would drive them back home. Now, on the 4th of September, 2024, it was a holiday, a day off. I guess businesses are usually closed type of thing. So on the 4th of September 2024, on a holiday, and two adolescents were walking nearby the commerce, a little bit before the actual event happened, the shooting. So maybe they witnessed something. The texts were compromising text messages. After the crime, Le Monde had thrown the gloves outside of one of the vehicles. The cops found them. They took the DNA, and the investigators of the gang squad, let's say, were able to orient their investigation towards the right suspects because of the DNA. Oh, so I remember they went there with two vehicles, right? So I'm a little bit confused about this. They shot the place and they fled. So if they came with two vehicles, did they leave with two vehicles, or they left one of the vehicles and they drove on the other vehicle? So I'm a little bit confused about that. Or did they just leave with both vehicles? Because the thing is, if they fled and cops don't know where they are, how did they find the vehicle? And because he says that when they exited that vehicle, the guy stupidly took the gloves he was wearing that had his DNA all over it, and he just pitched it outside the window of the car. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, murky, the sequence or specifics. But anyways, the cops found the glove, and it apparently that DNA on the glove helped them to orientate their investigations towards the right suspects. Now, this is the interesting part for us as well. A conflict had equally erupted between the executors and the intermediaries. The supervisors, remember? The supervisors versus the team leader and the workers. In regards to what? In regards to money, which helped the cops. Let's see. Now, in the days that followed the event, Guéraud, just want to remember who Guéraud is. I have such a short memory, man. Guéraud's the supervisor. Got it. No, he's the team leader. My apologies. Guéraud. Okay. In the days following the event, the team leader Guéraud was texting one of his friends that he was showing off. Basically, he was gloating. He was saying that he was the organizer of the misdeed, and that through text he also sent a link to the newspaper article that was reporting about a certain crime. During the search warrants, the cops found a used up shell. I'm not sure what I think it's a used up shell. I'm not too sure. And the shell inside of his bag. Why would you keep a used up shell? It says a percuted shell. I'm not sure what that exactly means. Okay. K6 Real says they left with two because one did the actual shooting while the other filmed it. So they were on two vehicles. Probably one of the vehicles they got out and they did the shooting, but on the other one of them remained outside to film it, is what he's saying. Something like that, right? If I got it right. So let's keep going here. Where were we at, man? Okay, we're here. Louis-Alexandre Guéraud, the team leader, then Alexandre Lemonde, a worker, Gabriel Michaud-Rémillard, another worker, and Sébastien Allard, all pled guilty to discharging a prohibited arm without caring about other people. Le Monde and Rémillard, the workers, have equally been found guilty in their guilt of what? Of breaking a court order or something, where they are not allowed to possess a tool. Maybe they had a rap sheet already, and the judge told them you will never be allowed to use to be around weapons again, etc. And obviously they were not supposed to, but they did, and they got caught. So they got that extra charge. Now, subtracting the period where they were in preventative detention while they're waiting for the court date and to be prosecuted, etc., etc., and then you get their time being counted as time and a half, the four condemned have already purged approximately 2 years and 4 months on their total sentence. I think they got 5 to 7 is what we read earlier in the article, right? They got 5 to 7, and I think they already have 2.5 or 2.25 done now. just want to skip unnecessary quotes from the judge that are going to be useless. Now, the two intermediaries, Benjamin Paquette and Mathieu Scott Dumont, pled guilty in last March, and have been respectively condemned to 7.5. So Benjamin Paquette got 7.5, and Mathieu Scott Dumont got 4.5. Okay. Extortion. I'm not too sure what this means here, but there's talking about extortion. Let's read. I'm completely lost here. We still ignored who commanded this attack against the garage of Marco Pizzi. Now the rumors and the theory is it came from the Hells Angels. Now I think, but there was an article that mentioned it as well. I usually don't go on rumors of what people say out there until it's at least mentioned in a news article, and I do remember it being mentioned. I find it odd and funny that they're saying we still ignore who commanded this attack. Maybe for legal reasons we ignore it. We can't say it. Maybe it's just legal. It's not mentioned in the court, so we don't know. Oh wait a second. One of the suspects interrogated by the police has said that the order came from a member of the Hells Angels in conflict with the mafioso. Now, La Presse says, but according to our sources, it would rather be an extortion attempt that has no links to the bikers. So two conflicting theories, and I like that. I like it. To at least we don't jump into a conclusion if it's wrong. If it's wrong, it would be a damn shame to say that the Hells Angels for sure did this, etc. It would be a damn shame, and it's wrong. We don't want that either. So if it's not confirmed, but here they are giving us two possibilities. Now, something that cannot be denied, though. This becomes a little bit less than a rumor when you're saying that one of the suspects interrogated by cops said the order came from a Hells Angels that's in conflict with a biker. It becomes a little bit more reasonable to believe this. But these are pawns. Maybe these pawns are just guessing. Maybe it's like they think it's coming from Hells Angels. You know what I'm saying? Now, he didn't say, in the quote here, they don't say that he believed. He says that he was interrogated and he said. But who knows, I guess. But this newspaper says, according to our sources, it would rather be an affair of extortion that's not linked to the bikers. Who would want to extort Marco Pizzi? And by de facto, you're extorting the team of Leonardo Rizzuto, Solicito, the Diadamos. Who the hell would even think about extorting them? I don't really believe that one. To be personally, I wouldn't lean on that personally. But we'll always be surprised, man. Could always be surprised. Now, last week, La Presse revealed that. Now, remember that real estate? Oh yeah, they're gonna tell us. Now that's the same story that we just read. They're just saying last week, Angus said that they were gonna buy it for $10 million. The building, the property, right? Where Marco Pizzi is doing business, which he gave to his ex-wife, which she's going to make a profit from, Usually when you separate from your ex-wife, you have nothing to do with her. I don't know. He gave her the property. She can just bank on it. Maybe. Who really knows, honestly. It's confusing. That's it for today, man. That's it. I know I said it was going to be short. I just saw, okay, there's a transaction for $10 million. All right, that's it. How long could this be? And I saw this as, there's a court, there are 4 people found guilty. That's it, 4 people are found guilty. How long could that be? But man, it ended up being much longer. So you can never really count on anything. But I think that's it. All right, guys, thank you for joining in. If you enjoyed this, hit the like for me. And subscribe to get more updates where I translate to you stuff that's in French into English, so you can finally understand. Could you imagine if this was never done? Nobody on YouTube was translating this for you. Maybe now it'd be different because of Chat GPT. You got people who are using that. They don't know anything about Quebec. They don't speak a word, but they're relying on a AI to do it for them. And then they pretend they know, and they accept a bunch of emails from random people feeding them rumors, and then they say, I'm the expert. I don't accept any emails from anybody for any random info. All I discuss is what's here. And be frank with you, if this was all in English, there would be no reason for my channel. I'm doing this because I actually feel that translating it for you, you live across Canada, you don't speak French, you'd be missing out. And I try to not do it word by word all the time, but sometimes at certain moments I translate word for word. It's as if you were reading the article yourself, as if you were at home and you could speak French. I'm translating it. You don't miss anything at all. I don't try to summarize. I try to go word by word when it's really important. And there you have it, man. So thanks a lot, man. Have a great day, and give a shout out to, let me see if I missed any messages. I can't read them all, but thanks a lot. He's nice. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Shout out to Parmigiani. Shout out. Okay, I'm going to go from the top, or I'm going to miss people. Shout out to Marcel Mathers. Shout out to Anthony Serrano and Daniel Gould, Marty, K6 Real, Lucifer, Crafty Cat, Mountain Woman. He's nice. DJ, The Wealth Chaser. Where are we at? Wealth Chaser. Zachary Mitchell. CEB2 1981. Triple N. Parmigiani. Did I say he's nice? Sleeping Joe. And Orville Henry. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.